Hey guys, Jeff here at Zip Hearing, and today I want to talk about hearing aids and amplifiers, the differences between them, some reasons you might want one over the other, and tips for buying them. But first, hit that like button and I'll keep the videos coming. Now, if you listen to what the FDA has to say about hearing aids versus amplifiers, amplifiers are not supposed to be used by people with hearing loss. That's what hearing aids are for. But the fact is, hearing aids are expensive and a lot of people buy amplifiers as an affordable alternative to hearing aids. Now, if you ask a local hearing care professional, they're almost always going to say, you should get hearing aids. Amplifiers aren't any good. On the other hand, companies that sell amplifiers make some pretty wild claims and will have you believe that they're just as good as hearing aids for thousands less. And there's a little bit of truth to both arguments. So first, here's a couple reasons why you should get an amplifier. First is if your hearing loss is very mild, almost normal, relatively flat across the different frequencies, and you just can't justify the expense of hearing aids. Hearing aids are thousands of dollars, and if your hearing loss is really mild and it looks flat like this, it means that you just need a little bit of amplification across all the frequencies. You don't need discrete independent sound processing that hearing aids provide. You just need everything a little bit louder, and that's the perfect job for an amplifier. And the second good reason to buy an amplifier is if you really just want to hear better around the home in quiet, one-on-one listening environments. Hearing aids have a lot of fancy features like directional microphones and sophisticated algorithms to process sound in noisy environments, and that's a lot of what you're paying for when you buy a hearing aid. So if you just want to hear better around the home and you don't need help in those more challenging environments, get an amplifier. So amplifiers are a good option in some cases, but there's times where hearing aids are definitely going to be a better option. Like if you need something that you're going to wear all day everywhere you go. Hearing aids are just more comfortable and more discreet. You can wear them all day and you won't even know you have them in. To give you an idea, here's a hearing aid and here's one of the most popular amplifiers. Another reason to get hearing aids is because they're more powerful. Amplifiers just don't provide a whole lot of power. That's partly why they're better for mild hearing losses, whereas hearing aids can be super powerful and help people even with profound hearing loss. And probably the best reason to buy a hearing aid instead of an amplifier is, in most cases, hearing aids are going to sound better. Some amplifiers just make everything louder. Some amplifiers you can control the low frequencies, the mids, or the high frequencies. But only hearing aids can be programmed to match your exact hearing profile and provide very discrete amplification at each frequency. The result is they just sound better. Hearing aids are able to pinpoint exactly the sound you're missing and amplify only that, leaving everything else alone. Now, having said all that, hearing aids can be very expensive. Usually the cheapest set you're going to be able to find is close to $2,000 for a pair. So if you're not ready to spend that yet, or you just think that an amplifier is going to suit your needs better for now, just keep these tips in mind when you're buying an amplifier. First is before you buy anything, get a hearing test done by a local provider. When you buy a hearing aid, the FDA has made this a required first step, and for good reasons. Getting a hearing test and examination of your ears ensures that there is no underlying and treatable medical condition contributing to your hearing loss. It also gives you a chance to get your ears looked at and make sure they're totally free of wax and get an expert opinion on whether or not amplifiers will be suitable for your type of hearing loss. My second tip is I would avoid buying the absolute cheapest devices, but also avoid spending too much. Consumer Reports and Johns Hopkins, links below, both advise against buying the cheapest devices because they can actually do more harm than good. The sweet spot for an amplifier seems to be around $150 per device. I'd be pretty leery of buying amplifiers that are cheaper than that. Those are often the amplifiers that are making kind of wild claims that aren't supported by evidence. But at the same time, don't spend $500 or more on an amplifier. When you get into that kind of money, you're getting pretty close to the cost of a very basic, maybe even refurbished hearing aid. And if you're going to spend that much money, you should just do a little homework and find the cheapest programmable hearing aids that you can find. Maybe even call a few local hearing aid offices. My last tip is look for devices that offer specifications, and this doesn't have to be terribly complicated, just look for a few things at minimum. Here's a good rule of thumb. If the amplifier has Bluetooth connectivity, this is usually an easy way to tell if it's a high-end amplifier. Good Bluetooth amplifiers will include an app that allows for personalization of the settings. Another important spec is what's called frequency response. This specification will tell you the range of frequencies the amplifier is capable of amplifying. Look for devices that can amplify above 2000 hertz, as this is the frequency range of sounds like sh, th, and s, all of which help make speech clear. All right, so bottom line, don't rule out amplifiers entirely. In some cases, they are a good option. Most of the time, hearing aids are probably a better option. But whatever you do, start this process by getting a hearing test from a licensed hearing provider and go from there. And that's a wrap for this video. If you have a question, please post it in the comments below, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.